My sunflowers did not get this big, but my folks have some huge ones, and they gave me this great big head of mature seeds, so I'm going to get these out of the flour and into the pan so that I can make some roasted sunflower seeds. You just have to work at it and they'll start popping out. I got at least 2 cups of seeds in the pot, some for the birds that the kitty can watch out the window, and then you can bet that I'm saving some for seed to plant next year since they did so well. And I'm certain that the deer will appreciate what's left of the seed head, the sunflower head, because it's kind of like artichoke. I know they'll eat it. I've got all these sunflowers in the pan. Now I'm going to add a quart of water and about a 1/4 cup of sea salt or kosher salt. And we're going to boil these, then simmer for about 10 or 15 minutes. Stir it up to make sure that salt is dissolved. They're at a boil right now, so I'm going to turn down the heat a bit and just simmer these on low to medium heat for about 15 minutes. And they're kind of floating, so to keep them submerged, I'm going to put my Chinese colander over the top of, I'm going to try over the top of them just to try to keep most of them submerged. Boiling and simmering is done. Now I am straining these a bit to get some of the excess water off and putting them onto a parchment-lined baking sheet to go into my 400-degree oven for 10 minutes before I start checking them. I've got them spread out in a thin layer on the cookie sheet, baking sheet. And even though they've soaked in brine, I'm also going to sprinkle, because I do love salty, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of Redmond's real salt over the top just to make sure they have a good salty flavor. I'll leave a resource for this in the description box below. It's a good source of minerals. Now, this is going into the 400-degree oven for 10 minutes. At that time, I will check them and make sure that nothing's burning. We just want to get them dried and roasted. I took the parchment paper out. That was just, there's too many in here and they kept getting underneath there, so I didn't want anything trapped and not roasting. So parchment paper's out. They've been in the oven for 22 minutes so far, and I still see a little bit of moisture in some of them, and they're not quite roasted yet. So I'm going to spread these out into a thin layer and start checking them at like 2-minute intervals to make sure they don't get too roasted. I think they're done. They're good and dry and smelling roasty. See any wet seeds anymore. They smell roasted. Everything's dry. So I'm gonna let these cool on the cookie sheet or on the baking pan. And then once they're cool, I'm gonna put them in a resealable bag and we'll eat them this winter.